Somebody asked me, can you do yoga every day? Is it safe to do yoga every day? And I have people ask me this a lot because it's understandable. You know, you see people get into different types of exercise and they go too much with it and yeah, they get hurt. So I wanted to address this topic. Can you do too much yoga? Or rather, let's phrase it this way. Is it safe to do yoga every day? And I want to answer this in two ways. Number one, yes. And with the elaboration being that so many people learn one aspect of yoga and they get really good at it and they get burnt out on it, or they kind of master it or get to a glass ceiling with it and then they get bored with it and move on. And that type of yoga usually is asana, or the postural type of yoga. Yoga has 8 limbs and sometimes more, depending on what lens or perspective in tradition you're looking at. But I would say that like a really easy way to think about how to practice yoga every day is to think about the core teachings of 3 things, like how you can use yoga to live your life, how you can use yoga to moderate your energy, and how you can use yoga to focus your mind. So how you can use yoga to live your life is, you know, if you really want to read about that, the Bhagavad Gītā, like that's where you would learn how to do that. You're going to learn things like about karma yoga specifically, and the art of renouncing the fruit of the action, bhakti yoga, these kinds of things. That's the core teaching of the Gita. The core teaching of the Yoga Sutras is really about harnessing the full optimization of the attentive power of the mind via meditation, or as it's called, dharana, dhyana, and then samadhi, and if all 3 at the same time, samyama. This is not just mindfulness, even though mindfulness is great, but meditation is a way to ultimately engage in your reality in a way where you are not just responding to what's happening, but you're an active participant in the co-creation. The third thing that I mentioned is the Haṭha Yoga Pradīpikā's core teaching, which is mastering your energy. And this is where the physical and the energetic cross over, and they also live kind of in distinct separate worlds. But, you know, are you doing breath work? Are you doing asana practice? Have you learned how to control energy via mudras and bandhas? Are you doing cleansing techniques, like energetic cleansing techniques, kriyas, shakkarmas? And this extends kind of in a full circle way to, like, as the Gita talks about, and each has overlap with each other, but how are you living your yoga off the mat? Because what are you putting in your body? What kind of foods are you eating? What kind of media are you consuming? All these kinds of things have an effect on your energy quality and your energy levels. So I think that you should be practicing yoga every day. I think it's safe because there are many modalities. In our 300 hour, we teach students how to practice the sadhana at Cambio. So a sadhana practice is spiritual yoga practice is one that includes kriya, which is a cleansing technique, sankalpa, which is intention setting, mantra and chanting, which is a bhakti practice, asana, pranayama, deep relaxation, and yoga meditation, specifically yoga meditation. So, you know, when we work with students at this level, our program is 9 months, and we do encourage them to practice yoga every day. And sometimes it's pranayama, and sometimes it's only pranayama for 30 days, or what have you. And the idea is that there doesn't need to be a dogma about it. There doesn't need to be a rigid expedience, because the goal is the practice and the consistency and showing up every day. So the second way I would answer this question, is it safe to practice yoga every day, is yes, and it's the best way to assert yourself. So let me explain. When you show up on the mat every day, essentially, you may be needing asana for a season of your life, and that season might be 10 years, 20 years. It might be the rest of your life, but just supplemented with some of the other limbs or aspects of yoga, some of the other techniques and practices. But what you're doing by allowing yourself to unroll the mat and engage with a personal, meaningful, authentic, and sincere spiritual yoga practice is you're opening the invitation every day to ask the question, what is being asked of me? And in that question, you are not meant to suffocate or repress or even fully express necessarily all of your desires. You're meant to recognize what the desires are, to get into relationship with your desires, and to recognize, and ultimately discern over a long enough period of time with sitting with it in an honest, temperate measure. Which ones are worth my time and energy? Which ones are worth my limited, precious time and energy in this life? And when you finally realize what it is that you are being called to deliver on in your life, what it is that is your specific dharma, that you must assert yourself towards. So whether it be a creative endeavor. For me, the big thing right now is sharing my work, my music work, and not for any commercial purposes, but just because that's a part of the cycle of creative inspiration, is finishing this cycle by sharing it so that it can re-inspire the new dawn of whatever might come along creatively. And that part for me is the bottleneck. That's the scary part. And I think in asserting yourself, it does take courage. It takes recognition. Where's the bottleneck? Why are you scared? What's stopping you? It might show up in your creative work. It might show up in your career. It might show up in your deeply held relationships, a conversation that might need to be happening. It might be in a budding romantic relationship. Rest assured, though, that if this time that you allow yourself to deepen your relationship with your inner, authentic, what we might call self and source, if that little thing keeps showing up as an agitator, whether it's a desire or some kind of like, princess in the pea scenario, my recommendation is assert yourself. So, yes, the question I get asked, is it safe to practice yoga every day? Yes, and you must, because it behooves you to be accountable to the things that you are here to do in your life, to assert yourself for and to and toward, because we're all waiting for you to do that. We all want you to take that next necessary step in your life. I think about the times that I've asserted myself in my life. And, if I fail, I learn. If I succeed, woohoo, I celebrate. And if I don't assert myself, there's huge opportunity there for regret. And which is scarier, failure or regret? So, hope this helped somebody today out there. How have you needed to assert yourself lately? And in what ways can you take the pressure off of yourself for your practice to be perfect every day, but to just take some real sacred time to get in tune for at least 1 minute? I mean, just don't have a nothing day. Don't have a zero net day. If you find at the end of the day, geez, I didn't take 1 moment to catch myself breathing, to be mindful about something, to tap into myself, to feel my body, to do something that I'm called to do beyond just material obligation, it's not too late if you're thinking that, because you're still awake, and 1 minute is better than 0 minutes. Okay, good luck stacking those practices. See you next time.